All right, I can record a video after 8 p.m., but I might be a little punchy. Well, a warm welcome to you all. I'm JJ. I'm a life coach, and I eat mostly meat.
I'm Eric. I'm a novelist, and I eat mostly meat.
And we are recording this video after 8 p.m.
Which is bedtime.
Which is pretty much my watch is saying it's time for bed. And what has occurred to me as we're sitting down to do this is that we're able to actually do this late at night, where if we go back just a little over 2 years ago, it was a whole different story. Our lives before Carnivore were completely different.
Yeah. And doing any sort of productive work at 8 p.m. would have been laughable. Well, let's hold judgment on whether this is productive or not.
So what did a day look like? Now, let me just state, this is where I break off in the middle of a sentence, as I do. We were not at our low points before Carnivore. We'd made some improvements in our health and our mental health, etc.
That's true.
But there's still a drastic difference between then and now. So let's go back. Spring, summer 2022. What did that day look like? How did your day start? How did you feel?
My day started with me rolling out of bed, usually early, which it still does.
Yeah, it's no different.
And then making my coffee, going into the living room, letting the dogs out, and then flopping on the sofa and taking a nap.
Did you take that's right, you did take a morning nap.
Very frequently, I would almost take an instant morning nap.
Yeah, that's right.
Terrible sleep problems didn't help either.
No, you've had sleep problems for a long time.
And the coffee would eventually get my brain turned on. And then I would be able to try to start my day.
Now, I'd get up considerably later. I still do. I'm usually up by 8 a.m. I would actually tiptoe out of bed because my ankle, my bad trick ankle, would be paining me quite a bit at that point. And then I would flop on the couch, but I felt pretty decent. I feel pretty decent in the morning. He's like, what? No, I like to take a slow start to my morning, but that's by choice.
Yeah.
That's not because I can't do more.
Yeah.
I just like an easy morning. But I would stack my work day so that my work was in the morning, because that's when I was most mentally sharp, is about after 9 a.m. Probably 9 a.m. to about 1 p.m. would be when I'd try to do most of my work.
Yeah.
After that, not so great. I'd have that afternoon dip.
So I would have a Quest bar and with my coffee for breakfast.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 Quest bars. That would be enjoyable because it was super hyper sweet. But then my stomach gut would start to hurt for the day.
Yeah.
Like it would go on duty for the day.
And I think around that time, it's hard for me to go back. I think I might have a smoothie for breakfast. That was okay. Sometimes I'd have like a strawberry smoothie. I also was into, at that point, gluten-free toast. I think I'd have a piece of gluten-free toast in the morning.
Because you hadn't quite started intermittent fasting at this point?
I started that in March of 2022.
Okay.
So if we go back to that era, then I was skipping breakfast by that point.
Okay.
But I wasn't. I know what else I was doing before March of 2022. I would have a caffeinated Spark.
Oh, yeah.
Drink mix, vitamin drink mix to get me going.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
That's what you were doing.
Yes.
You're dirty fast. And then the productive part of the day, whether it was writing or doing something else, would begin. And then because at that point, we had the property at the lake, but weren't living there still. I would go over there to do work. And for lunch, it would not be unusual for DoorDash to suddenly show up and deliver something. The thing with the door dashing was you're like, I'm really hungry, so I'll have my favorite thing. What else is on the menu? And maybe I'll have a little chips. Yep, that's good. And then suddenly other things end up in the order that I'm like, well, I don't know if I'll eat it all, but I'm interested to try it. And so when it finally arrives, I am starving. Remember, I've had 2 Quest bars at most so far, and my blood sugar is not stable. Mm-hmm. My satiety has not been dealt with. And now I'm going to have this processed food fiesta. I would just mow that down, and it would be like a drug, because then I'd be like, oh, I feel so much better. And that feeling would last for about 10 minutes. And that would be sort of like the high of my day.
Yeah.
Because my gut pain would be the least right as I was eating. And then I would go about my day, and the food would begin to move into the battlefield of my gut and cause all kinds of problems.
Yeah, you'd go throughout your day, but that wasn't usually that long. We would come home.
Yeah.
If we were at the property, we would come home.
Yeah.
And I didn't usually nap. Sometimes I did. But you were napping.
I'd be exhausted
every day.
And so I would just lie back on the sofa and rest my eyes.
Yeah. So this is like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the nap.
Yeah. Almost every day.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that would kind of be the end of my energy for the day as well. Because once I woke up from the nap, I wasn't invigorated. Mm-mm. I wasn't ready to go. I was very puffy, inflamed, and feeling lousy.
So then I would get to work making some dinner. Mm-hmm. And it would probably be still hog log or something. Like we would usually eat meat and sweet potato for dinner.
Yeah.
That was often what was on the menu. So we would have that. Mm-hmm. And then some days I would go to my theater rehearsal, which starts at 6 p.m. And I would sit down at the director's table. Well, if I had to choreograph the kids, oh my gosh, if I had to choreograph, that was, I was already going in tired, but I would put on the happy face and get them through the dance and just be so brain foggy and just tired, like dragging myself through the rehearsal. Because at 7:30, my energy was gone and my brain power was gone, period. Now, rehearsal goes till 8. So I'd get through a good chunk of the rehearsal, dragging myself. But by 7:30, boy, whew. And if we were home, I'd be on the couch. Like, it would just be couch 7:30, brain dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if she was at play practice, I would be doom scrolling on Twitter or some other social media thing, filling my brain with nonsense that didn't contribute to my happiness. But I might also have a kind bar or something if I felt like I need a little schnibble of something.
I probably brought a snack. I probably brought a kind bar to rehearsal, as a matter of fact. Yeah. So a lot of the day was just dragging ourselves through it.
For me, it was meal to meal. And the meals were the pleasure of the day because they were generally very highly palatable and part of my habit. And then I would start to just feel very fatigued, tired. Because I didn't sleep well, I would have this heaviness.
Yes.
That would just felt like my face was completely pulled down.
If you enjoy our videos, we are so happy to have you here. And we'd love it if you would like and subscribe so that we can visit again. We would both get a certain type of heaviness many days.
And I always said it was like, I feel like I'm inside my skull looking out through my eyes, which is, I guess, the case. But for some reason, it just felt different when I would say that. It was like, no, you don't get it. It's as if I'm a skull. And there's an awareness looking out through the eye holes, but it's a very, very heavy, tired, hollow, echoey, and also full of static kind of mental state.
Yes, static you would talk about quite a bit.
It was really bad.
And you talking about looking out through your eyes reminded me that my vision by the end of the day was usually not real sharp either.
Getting pretty wonky.
Yeah. And I've never needed glasses. Like hasn't been that bad, but vision was very variable. And by the end of the day, very
And
off.
if you weren't to play practice, we were watching TV or something, then there would come that hour where all of a sudden I'm super sensitive to light.
Yes.
It's like I can't stand the lights. And when that happened, it meant I was going to fall asleep in front of the TV.
Uh-huh.
And then I would go to bed and maybe I'd fall asleep, maybe I wouldn't, but I would definitely wake up at 2:00 and be up for several hours.
Yeah.
But the light sensitivity was really, really painful, like hurt my head.
Our daughter would tease us about how dark our house is.
And I had been experimenting with wearing the blue blocking amber colored lenses because of that very problem. Because I was like, I don't think I should be looking at all these screens, but I did anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was the state of things. And that was not the worst we've been.
No, not by a long shot.
All the things we described were an improvement.
Yeah.
And I had started an SSRI. I knew that I needed to get back on keto or something, but there's a lot of reasons that doesn't happen.
And my weight had stabilized by this point. I was seeing my new doctor for hormone replacement therapy, which I'd had previously, but it was off. I was out of balance. So my weight had stabilized, and I certainly wasn't like I was in my 30s where I couldn't stay awake all day. But there was just, it just wasn't great. I felt tired and drained and didn't even realize how much until we can look back on it.
But I will say this, my LDL was under 100.
Well, there you go.
Because I was taking a statin. And so it did the thing that it was supposed to do, and it gave me a false sense of security because then I'm like, well, I can eat Qdoba and sweet potatoes and Kind bars, and I guess my heart is safe.
I forgot about that because that's true. Once you started the statin, the diet went down.
Yeah, because I responded really strongly to it. So I had a great LDL reduction, but one wonders what other effects were happening with that.
I mean, health and well-being, like you said, we've been lower.
Yeah.
But health and well-being we were not vital, engaged people.
But then come October of 2022, we changed our diet to carnivore.
Yes, we did. Yes.
And everything changed.
Now, it didn't necessarily happen overnight.
It didn't happen with the first meal?
It didn't happen with the first meal. I did not spring out of bed the next day and hop up and down on my bad ankle. It didn't happen that way. But pretty quickly, I started to notice a reduction in my allergies. I hadn't even talked about my allergies. My eyes, it wasn't just my eyesight, but my eyes burned nonstop all day, all night. They were so bad. And that resolved pretty quickly where my eyes felt much better. That was one of the first things. But, and I didn't lose weight right away, but I steadily saw an improvement in my energy. Right away, I noticed that I didn't have the afternoon dip. That would be the first thing.
I noticed my acid reflux resolved really quickly because every single night I would have to take Tums or something almost every night. Just went away.
Yeah.
And the gut pain issues quickly followed in a dramatic reduction, and especially gut bloat, which was so astonishing to me that it can turn around so quickly, and is a huge quality of life improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
I just thought it was funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I edit these, so
I know.
we do yeahs after every phrase. I have to edit them out.
All right. I can record a video after 8 p.m., but I might be a little punchy.
It was a long day in the sun today.
Well, and that's another thing is we actually hosted people today.
Yeah.
And we're doing this. So that is incredible.
Yeah, had to be social.
Yeah. Yeah. Incredible. But now I have no problem at play rehearsal. I barely sit down at play rehearsal. 7:30 comes and goes, not a problem at all. So I don't have my afternoon dip. I don't have the ankle pain. My ankle is so much better. So I don't have to walk around on my tiptoes in the morning anymore or at night.
Yeah.
I
don't have to take a wake up nap in the morning.
No, you're awake when I wake up.
Yeah, I'm awake, and I mean, maybe once every few months I might have slept so poorly I just sleep again in the morning.
Yeah.
This just doesn't happen.
The buzzy brain, you said static, but I used to get what I call buzzy brain too,
Yeah.
where I told you I would lay down. I wouldn't even necessarily nap, but I'd have to just lay down, close my eyes for 10 to 15 minutes, and my brain would feel buzzy, buzzy brain, but then it would just sort of dissipate. I don't get buzzy brain anymore.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember the last time
That's
I had
good.
buzzy brain. Yeah, it's not comfy. And I can work all day long. Like I don't have to worry about the dip or when I'm most mentally sharp. I can we can go to the property in the morning and I can come home and do like projects where I'm writing and creating in the afternoon.
I've mentioned before, I have a tractor. I like to work with it. I like the attachments. I like to find projects to do with it. I used to have a really difficult time with connecting certain attachments to the tractor because my hand strength just wasn't very good. And now it's not a problem at all. And I move heavy equipment around a lot just through muscling it around.
Yeah.
And I used to be much weaker and injured chronically. And now I'm not injured.
Yeah.
So that's a huge improvement.
So life is drastically different from when it was just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Just 2 years ago.
It really is.
It's like a renaissance.
I recommend it. Because if, we're both 53, if you're 53 and you can look around at the people your age and go, holy cow, these people are old, but I feel young. Mm-hmm. It is extraordinarily ego boosting. No, it just makes you feel superior.
That's all.
There's nothing wrong with feeling. No, it's the contrast is so remarkable when you get out of the old paradigm and you can see clearly how food is toxic. And then you're like, we took our daughter out to dinner tonight, and it was remarkable to see people our age, people younger, and they don't know that the things they ordered off that menu are poison. Mm-hmm. And they're the reason that they have all the medications and all the health problems that they have.
And just cannot engage in life.
No. They're going to go home and it's going to be exhaustion.
Yeah.
And they're going to wake up, it's going to be exhaustion. And looking out through the skull holes at life and not actually being outside and present with life.
Yeah.
I really need to think up a better way to explain that. Is there a better way to explain it? Does that even make any sense? Do you know the feeling I'm talking about where you just feel like for some reason your vision is set deeper into your eye sockets than it should be? It's just the way I think.